aside from that alignment, to me, all the other alignments are really just suggestions, right? So they're kind of guidelines. Like, cause like we said, like the Paladin can murder if he feels it's evil. But and that may be way too extreme for the chaotic good character or the neutral good character. Be like, you're out of your mind. Or, even a lawful evil or a neutral evil character, even a chaotic evil character could be like, yo, what are you doing? It's just a baby.
That situation actually did come up with in our game when we if you've watched all our other videos, you heard us talk about our friend Psycho, and he was playing this Paladin. And, we were going through, and when it actually came down to, okay, well, the rest of the guys are dead, and, the party starts to breathe. And he turns to Dave, who was DMing, like, all right, what's left? And he's like, okay, well, there's, 3 women and 6 children. And he picks up his 20 and he starts rolling.
Oh, my God.
And we're like, what?
It was his best rolls of the night.
And he
Did he have Great Cleave?
He was pulling off the cleave and the Great Cleave, and he just starts mowing down these helpless orc women and children. Now, mind you,
he hit all the rolls in 6 seconds. He killed like nine NPCs.
He just mowed through them, and here we have this lawful good person, and all of us are like, we're in shock.
We're horrified.
Like, what you doing, Psycho? And I mean, technically, calling him that, it really makes sense. But it calls into question. It's like, really? This is what you perceive as lawful good? And he's like, well, yeah, they're evil. I had to do it. And it it's a game. But I mean, some of us were like, dude, you're making me feel queasy here. This is pushing that borders.
And really, like, you take the mechanics of the game, okay? So a Paladin can detect evil at will. So, like, he can 100% justify that action. Go,
yep, they're evil.
My evil-o-meter is going crazy here. I gotta kill them all. And so like, that's an extreme example of the lawful good goody two-shoes character who's playing kind of to his character to the T, to the point where it's almost like playing against type. And when we're gaming and we're at the table and for the most part, right, I don't think anyone thinks about their alignment as much once the game session started and they're going at it and doing their stuff. And every once in a while you have to be reminded or whatever. Because in older editions of the game, you were actually penalized if you changed your alignment.
If you changed your alignment, you lost a level. If you did something that was not appropriate for your alignment, you suffered some kind of penalty. I think you stopped earning XP until, or maybe it was just Paladins that, you had to atone. But like you were pigeonholed and you had to do what was there. And maybe later editions didn't really have as big a deal with alignment, but you had issues with that specifically, and it makes it a real challenge when your actions at the table are limited, and if every decision you make, everything you do at the table is being judged by this overarching word or words sitting there on your character sheet, I think that's pushing things a bit too far.
Well, like I said, we've moved into other games where we're not using alignment, and it's like the question is, should we even keep alignment in the game? Because if you think about it, the alignment goes way, that thing is so freaking old now. D&D just turned what? Was it 75?
I have no idea.
I don't know if it's 50 or 75. I just know, they can only approximate it. We don't even know exactly when the whole hobby was formed. But is it still viable in our game? Do we really need it? I mean, and certain characters still have alignment restrictions in Pathfinder. If you're a barbarian, you can't be lawful. If you're a paladin, I'm pretty sure you still have to be lawful good.
There's some things that are like, knockoff paladins that get a lot of the same stuff, but are geared towards lawful neutral. And I mean, even back to 2nd edition, there was the quote unquote anti paladin supposed to be chaotic evil or lawful evil, whatever it was. But it's geared pretty much the paladin, but it was evil. but you had these things that it's like you're limited. So if you want to play this, you are automatically coming with this baggage on your character sheet, and whatever restrictions your DM and sometimes your fellow players are going to push on you to play that actual archetype. If I want to be a nature spellcaster, I've got to be a druid, which means part of my alignment is stuck being neutral. And in older editions, you really had to fight for that balance. And in the newer stuff, you're still stuck there to some extent. We ran a campaign years ago. We even submitted it to the competition when D&D had the design your own campaign setting, and Eberron won. Sorry it wasn't us, unfortunately, but we had a world that it wasn't a good versus evil balance. It was a law versus chaos, and it was interesting, and to us it was really great. We poured our heart and soul into it for years, and have stacks of notebooks and all kinds of digital files saved from all of that submission. But it's interesting to have to deal with this fight of alignment.
So basically, right, like Ted just said, we tried changing it up a little bit, chaos versus law, which actually, come to think of it, we actually just ripped off another book series, borrowed. Or like we like to say in the hip hop world, sampled. Instead of good and evil, it was chaos versus law. And in hindsight, it wasn't really all that interesting. It was kind of cool when Mickey Zucker did it in her series, Last of the Renshaw, which was great and awesome. We did it not nearly as much, and to come to think of it, it never truly came up in our game. It was just kind of like an overarching theme was there, and is something that was like more for the gods than anything. So in the end, it wasn't really. It was just a little mental masturbation on our part because it didn't come up, But in the genre, right, in the games and the movies, books, whatever. But there's always these themes: evil versus good, order and law versus chaos and randomness. So I understand the compulsion and why it was kind of added to the game. It does add an element, and it does give you your characters or your players a tool for their characters to help design their personality around it.
So, like, if you find yourself in a situation and you're stuck with a moral quandary, then I think, okay, well, having that, all right, well, I'm this, so maybe this is the way I should lean. In those situations, having the alignment set at the beginning of the game, is really great because you can say, all right, I'm going to do this, and it's good in a situation if you say, all right, you got a DM who's really willing to work with you and really help mold your character in a direction. If you decide you wanted to play a character who wants to work up to being a paladin, and he's not good, but he winds up getting presented with situations that skew him in that direction, to becoming that epitome of paladinhood, then yay, great.